koira. Before Crosswinds, I used to, moonlight as a Kishore singer.
And eto bochhor bade, when we see Bonida coming to Calcutta again and doing Bangla music.
Those world music festivals were the most beautiful things I've ever done. When I sang Prithibi, I still remember, why couldn't we do it? Like, why is this happening? Why does it need a Berlin to archive all the Baul music? Why can't we do it? Joton koira rakhbi apon zomi dikhbi jate khoa nahi jay.
Good evening to our viewers and subscribers on YouTube. Welcome to the second season of Salzsee Podcasts. So many of you have reached out to us on our DMs on Instagram and other social channels regarding when is the next podcast coming. So here we are, and it had a khub important ekta din amar jibone, amar life, because এত নানান লোকজনকে ইন্টারভিউ করার পরে when you get to speak to people who are your childhood heroes, here we get to speak to our heroes, and today is one of those days that I get to meet and interview one of my childhood heroes, and I'm sure it's the same for a lot of you in Kolkata যারা 90s এ বড় হয়েছো especially. We welcome none other than Mr. Bonnie Chakraborty.
Good evening, guys. Folks, thanks a lot. Wriddhaayan, I missed some dates with you, but I guess this is one of the only talk shows that I'm going to be doing, and thank you for all the things that you've told me. Yes, it's been a long career, like close
it's
to
such an honor. I still can't believe that I'm sitting here with you, because telling you a little bit about myself, I have interviewed a lot of international musicians also, but this is as big as, to me. Like whenever I have spoken to like an Opeth or a Steven Wilson slash এত কিছু এক্সপিরিয়েন্স হয়েছে আমার লাইফে, বাট কোনোদিনও যে আমি বসে বনি চক্রবর্তীর সঙ্গে বসে একটা টক শো করবো, এটা আমার কাছে একটা বিরাট বড় ব্যাপার। কেন সেটা আমি বলছি, কারণ 1995-6 around that time, when we were in the 3rd or 4th standard, I guess, we all heard an album called পথ গেছে বেঁকে
Mukherjee.
With Neil Mukherjee and Tukida and Bonida সবাই মিলে, it totally changed our perception towards Bangla music. And এত বছর বাদে, when we see Bonida coming to Calcutta again and doing Bangla music, it's such a great joy for all of us. ছোট্ট করে প্রথম প্রশ্নটায় চলে যাব, কারণ মানে বনিদা ইজ রিয়েলি বিজি অ্যান্ড আমি অনেক দিন ধরে চেস করে বনিদাকে আজকে পেয়েছি। সো মাই ফার্স্ট কোয়েশ্চেন টু ইউ বনিদা ইজ দিস, দ্যাট when I heard you for the first time in the Times FM musical Hoichoi in 1995 or 6, I was a kid. That show was organized by Times FM, which later became Radio Mirchi. One of my uncles had a pass. Okay. He gave it to me and my father, and we were completely mesmerized watching Crosswinds. You had long hair then.
First time we premiered 2 songs of our album. First time. And it was not done. Those days, I still remember Fanta Rock show.
Yes.
Shiva was there.
Yes.
Shiva and Crosswinds. And that's the first time we did Ghum, Bhange and Pad Gache Beke on stage.
Yes.
And everybody was like, what is this happening,
তো সেখান থেকে ইংরেজি থেকে বাংলার ট্রান্সফরমেশনটা নিয়ে যদি একটু বলো, কারণ we haven't really found any interviews of yours. I did tried doing a lot of research. There is nothing. Who are you as a person? We want to know where do you come from, and এরকম একটা ওয়াইড জনার, মানে যেখানে ফোক আছে, ওয়ার্ল্ড মিউজিক আছে, রক অ্যান্ড রোল আছে, এখন বাংলা কমার্শিয়াল মিউজিক ও ফিল্ম মিউজিক আছে। Who are you? What are you made up of? If you could tell us a little bit about the person that you are and যেখান থেকে জার্নিটা শুরু হলো।
Okay, Wriddhaayan, I belong to a background where my father was traveling all over. He was in the army. He's a very well decorated soldier. He's fought 3 wars. He's a 3-war veteran. He's 83 now. So I got to travel to Hyderabad, to Assam, and last place was Rajasthan. In between, lots of places. So I was kind of in this whole bohemian, kind of a culture where our one religion was humanity. And we were with Punjabis, Sikhs, Muslims, everyone, meaning one community of these friends. And I picked up lots of things from each of these, postings that Dad was like, and like a cross-cultural pollination, I would say, was injected into my system long back. And I have been singing from the age of 6 actually.
Wow.
And not trained in any format of music. But
Never trained?
I did, I told you I trained with Kochuda for 2 years with percussions. That was my main instrument. Singing came to me naturally. She was more into, adhunik music, into means all the traditional, Robindra Shongit, তারপরে আছে নজরুল গীতি, যা গান আছে হেমন্ত এইসব। আর ড্যাড সাইড ওয়াজ মোর ইনটু ফোক মিউজিক। সো বাবা অনেক ভাটিয়ালি গান আমাকে I learned it from him. So both dad and mom could both sing, and I still remember in the army I was put up on stage and I used to do this 3-hour concert alone, without any instrument, just singing away. Got to class 10 and I was in Darjeeling. I was in Kurseong for 4 years. I was a boarder, so I was exposed to a lot of Nepali music and arts and drama. I was heavily into sports. After I came to Calcutta, I was in St. Joseph's, Bobajar. I started into all these big musicals where Anto Menezes was playing the piano, Damon Arona on guitar, like the best of the best musicians, and I was a lead singer for these big musicals, which was like I got the lead role, and much to a whole lot of people's kind of disgust and like why is he singing? But I guess by that time I was doing school band, CSNY, Beatles, Shiboproshad, and it was that point of time when that music bug had bitten me very hard. But post that, moved to I was really keen on joining the army because my father was my all-time hero, and I didn't choose music. By the time I was flirting around with the idea, I moved. Crosswinds grabbed me because they were looking for a vocalist, and they took me into the setup, and I was singing 175 songs a night.
Yes.
Starting from Louis Armstrong to Lou Bega. Those days we didn't have dance numbers. Got to 1994 where Moni Mama was doing a documentary film called The Calcutta Blues.
Gautam Chattopadhyay.
Yes, Gautam Chattopadhyay. Yeah. So I call him Moni Mama. So he said that, and Gautam's cousin was there. Neil was there. Nephew, sorry.
Nephew, yes.
Gautam's nephew was there. So Neil said that, why don't you use my band? So he kind of shot Calcutta through the eyes of a band.
Yes.
So that band was us, and that's when it started. And that he was kind of why not revive Mohiniyar Ghoraguli with Crosswinds?
Yes.
And let them produce the music. So that's where this started from, and when I sang Prithibi, I still remember.
Oh, that's one song that totally became, it's still a sensation. People are covering it in pubs here, now in 2025, mind you.
I believe আমাকে whole lot of people call me and say or বলে কি বনিদা তোমার গান গাইছে। I said এটা আমার গান নয়, এটা একটা নজরুল গীতি বা রবীন্দ্রসঙ্গীতের পর্যায়ে পড়ে। It's an anthem.
Yes.
And the song was much it was in maybe C or something when Gautam was singing it, and he said we'll do it in E.
Yeah.
And that bhebe dekhecho ki part,
it's a high part,
and I was like, I could zap those many sections, but my diction was not very like চোখ ধাঁধানো এইসব বলেছিলাম, তো অনেক লোকজন এই করেছিল কি এটা কি
ধাঁধানো না বলে ধাঁধানো কেন বলা হয়েছে, but that's a style, right?
Yeah, that became a style. In fact, when I did Dabaru, Rupam sang a song for me, like the title song. So he told me that I liked that distortion, what you did with that thing. So I still think that when I'm singing in Bengali, every shobkota uchcharon thik hawa uchit, all the pronunciation, because according to me, I can experiment as much as I want with the music, but I never want to distort the language. To me, that is a very different thing. So here I was when Gautam happened and Mohiniyar Ghoraguli happened, then পাখিদের সুরে সুরে গাই তারপরে কত কি করার আছে বাকি হাই ভালোবাসি, I sang 11 songs.
Yes.
And
all the songs are, I mean, এতটাই আইকনিক। সবকটা গান, যে কটা গান বনিদা মেনশন করছে, আমাদের ছোটবেলার ওই ক্যাসেটগুলো আবার বছর 20 পরে খ্যাপার গান, সবকটাতে তিনটে চারটে করে গান ক্রসউইন্ডস এর মানে একটা রেন্ডিশন রয়েছে।
একটা নীলেরও গান ছিল যাও ছেড়ে চলে, amazing song.
Yes.
So I think I was very fortunate and I was very lucky to be there at the right point of time, because I got to sing so many songs with Gautam, and he used to tell me, all the time that this city, in India, people will stand up and listen to you when you sing in your own language. And that was the biggest mantra he gave us. And that's when we started flirting around with the idea, why not? Neil wrote 8 songs, and Neil said, in between Seal and Floyd, in between Nirvana, we are going to push Pod Geche and Mane Ghum Bhange.
You guys must be in your 20s then?
Yes, I was 21 or 22. So that point of time is when the whole revolution, happened. And I still remember Boimela and Gautam kind of trying to get all the logistics ready. A. Mukherjee stall released their album, and we marched from Boimela to Park Street, and it was like,
এই গল্পটা শুনেছি আমি গাবুদার থেকে।
It was crazy.
Right. Yes.
These kind of things I don't think has happened earlier. It's like a Dylan or a kind of a মানে Beatles kind of a thing. So মানে মণিমামা সবসময় আমাকে একটা কথাই বলতো, আমার সঙ্গে যখন লাস্টের দিকে আমি মানে শহর ছাড়ার আগে যখন we were doing Gautam Chatterjee live, then the lineup was me on drums, Tuki on guitars.
You played the drums also?
Yes, yeah.
Many people don't know that, by the way.
Yeah, I'm a percussionist by heart. That's my second instrument, and that's how I can produce music and I can compose. I think that played a big role. My biggest project called Dekh Ke, Dekhne Ka Naya Tarika, was recorded in Chennai, and Dwight produced that album.
Wow.
And it had Rahman's musicians playing on it. I composed it. Nikhil, one guy, wrote all the. So that was one project of mine which was very close to my heart, but it never saw the light of the day. And but we got, it was a project by Literacy India, a very, very big NGO from Delhi. So we did this project together, and I was already dabbling into songwriting and stuff like that. And by that time, once I left Crosswinds and I moved to Chennai,
even you had gone to Chennai?
Yeah,
like Neil Mukherjee
Neil left in 97, I moved in 99.
Both of you were in Chennai at the same time?
And we did Kashti together.
Oh yeah, Bhattacharyya and all the songs. Shahar Ki Bheed Mein.
Shahar Ki, you've heard those songs.
I love the album.
So that is when all these things gonna happen. But okay, coming back to the moot point is, meaning when Gautam told me about this, that নিজের ভাষায় যেদিন গান গাইবে, that's the day people are going to stand up and listen, and that's what happened with Prithibi. And post that Pod Geche was done, and Pod Geche I still think was a huge revolution of its kind.
Yes.
But I still feel that album had a very strong sense of musicality in it, as in very seldom I have found this kind of a combination of Neil and Tuki together. They both were like proper guitar gods to me.
Yes.
So once Pod Geche happened, everything changed.
Yes.
We were singing those songs live. People were covering it. We were doing it in concerts, and it was still a new idea. And
it was a world music album, not just rock. It had funk. It had pop. It had funk. Yeah.
Progressive jazz rock influence. There was a song called Elo Melo Hawa.
Elo Melo Hawa. Yes.
They had this funk influence. Lots of stuff. Whole lot of stuff. But I feel that what changed everything was that trigger was Gautam.
আমার একটা প্রশ্ন যেটা সবসময় মানে মনে হতো যে মানে like I was telling you once we were talking before the shoot started, you came back to Calcutta, you were doing Bombay Calcutta for a while. Now that you are back here again, and one album is a smash hit, Bohurupi, by the way, is composed by Chakraborty. And
I'm not back in Calcutta. I still do travel, and I do go to Bombay when work allows me, or work calls. I'm very keen. I spent 7 years in the Mecca of India, in Chennai, and with Rahman sir. So I want to get back there. I want to meet all my friends there, Yuvan Shankar Raja, everyone that I've
Where did you stay there in Chennai?
Nungambakam.
Oh, beautiful. I have lived in T Nagar for a short while.
You were there for a while?
Yeah.
So I was in Adyar, in like Thiruvanmiyur. I was in Koturpuram. I was in Nungambakam and
all nearby areas.
And I did a lot of projects inside of Auroville.
No, coming back to Rahman sir, and I think I have had long conversations with Bonida's long-time collaborator Neil Mukherjee, who happened to be my neighbor in Bombay. We were just talking about, and I have also seen Bonida on the road multiple times, but I did not have the courage to go up and speak because I didn't really know what to speak because I was such a big fan. I'm still a fan, just that I have grown up a little bit more to approach him now. But coming to Rahman sir, from Gautam Chattopadhyay, Crosswinds, Mohiniyar Golaguli, suddenly you land up in Mangal Pandey in an Amir Khan film.
Mangal Pandey, everyone was like, why did I take this 360-degree turn from rock and roll into, we did that time, Mohin happened, Podgache Beke, so I had already changed my language and stuff like that. But why Oikotan? That's what many people asked. And once I moved to Chennai, there's a small story. It took me 3 years to meet Rahman.
How did that happen? Because he was so big.
I think Pukar was going on that
yeah, he was tracking K Sara Sara and Hamrahi. Yeah.
You know all the stories.
Yeah.
So, Pukar happened and he told me, then I said, boss, I want to meet him. And all that. So I went to Rahman and that time, Kashti had happened, this song called Atit.
Yeah, okay.
That track was there. So I was roaming around with my small Discman those days. And I waited from 7 a.m. From 7 p.m.
Was this at Panchatam recording?
Yeah, Panchatam. KM was not ready those days. So Rahman came out and with a long hand. Hi. Neil told me about you. And he's a very unassuming kind of a character.
Yeah.
Very, very, always.
It's very chill, yeah. It's
absolutely.
Very chill.
Even when I approached him for my Bohurupi song, I'll tell you what happened. But he said, I told him, sir, I have this track. I want you to listen to it. Well, I'm in a different zone. I'm with Pukar right now. Can we please listen to it later? So I took the Discman and I was walking out. He just called me. He said, Bonnie, just bring it up. So he heard it. And the first question he asked me, who's played bass? With this very nice fretless lines which Dwight had played. So I told him, this guy called Dwight Patterson. He said, you have a nice voice. I would like to hear you sing. And he heard me. So I was trying to sing something to him. Then I switched to Bengali folk. To a Bhattacharyya song which I had learned from my father. And he said that this is your voice. So then I played him, Prithibi and stuff like that. But later on, within a period of 2 years, I was moonlighting as I was working in a cafe, singing regularly over there. I was teaching in a school.
Okay.
I was in a place called Kids Central, because I was at the peak of my career in Crosswinds. The whole Crosswinds was at its peak. That's when I left because I decided I don't want to sing, Nirvana and Deep Purple all my life. I want to find where do I stand in front of Rahman. And it was a huge risk because my mom told me, do not do this. You're going to be struggling. It's going to be really difficult. So I packed my bags and Neil said, I have this album for you. Are you want to come here? I went to Chennai and I started learning Hindustani classical just for a year. That's one format I never kind of could master, but I waited for 3 years, and while I was waiting, I realized that I had this strong connect with a whole lot of world music. I was listening to Salif Keita, like to Yuswendo, to like Baba Mal, and like all of it, like whole lot of music, like lot of Rai stuff, Algerian folk, and I was mesmerized by it, like Gypsy Kings, like Andalusian, but again this connect came
Andalusian,
from
wow.
Andalusian. So it all came from Neil and from Monima.
I was about to say, probably.
I was going crazy, like, because while doing Mohin, we used to have these small session breaks where we used to do, like break into like or me, like whole lot of stuff, and everybody like,
Mohin had that the style of incorporating world music.
Songs
Yeah.
were like mane koto ki and everything is like mane complete, that
That sound,
Latin,
yes, Latin sound,
yeah.
yes.
Even mane kape, mane cafe, that song. So I felt that when Gautam's songwriting had a very strong influence of all these things, and he had a band called Urge, which was playing in Trinkas. So they were doing Beatles, So he had a very strong influence of. I call him the Beatles of India.
Such a beautiful time in Calcutta, no?
Yeah, absolutely.
Come to think of it.
Absolutely. Meaning not beautiful, I think last year or year before last year, actually when my wife had conceived, when Bandish was born, Usri is here. She's also sang Shundari Kamala, and she's worked in Gangs of Wasipur and stuff like that. So when I came down and I was here when my child was born, when Bandish was born, I took this entire trip down memory lane when I went to my Bedford Lane, and I visited my rehearsal pad where Robbins plays Robin Rai and stuff like that. So ওইগুলো একটা ওই কি বলে একটা মেমোরি ট্যুরিজম টাইপের একটা হয়, ওই সবকটা জায়গা গিয়ে আবার এই করলাম, তখন ভিজিট করলাম। কিন্তু কামিং ব্যাক টু দিস পয়েন্ট অফ টাইম ওয়্যার these songs were being written, I was kind of when Gautam used to come back, he used to come to our place. We used to have these parties till 4. Some neighbors complaining, some cops coming, like stop this music, stuff like that. And he said, "Aro jore bajao, ke ashe dekhi." So he was one guy who I used to always on stage say, "Please welcome, Mani Mama, this and that." So he used to, after the gig, he said, like, "What is this nonsense? Where is Bonnie Mama?" He was always pushing me, because he was telling me that I want to see you in that.
Wow, such a
in
blessing.
that avatar, that he used to say that. And I did this project with SRFTI, and Gautam wrote this Bengali song, this Hindi song, and the project was playback, how like a hero heroine would dance around trees. So there was this guy called Manu who wrote the lyrics. Crosswinds produced the music. I sang the song. And this amazing song called Dekho Dekho Ga Raha Hai Ye Banjara. So Gautam said, "You're going to be the hero in the movie." I said, "What? Me as in the hero?" "Yeah, long hair, this and that." And the heroine was taller than me, and he made me shoot and dance around in all these like dhobi ghats, and it was like খুব বকাবকি করেছিল তখন।
অনেক এক্সপেরিয়েন্স।
Oh my God. And I am the worst actor, like Usri will tell you. I am the worst, meaning so bad. Like I was approached for some TV commercials in Bombay after MTV Coke Studio with Khaja Baba and all that, and I was so bad, and so I was pathetic. So thank God Gautam made me only do the playback thing, and that journey with Crosswinds, I started writing songs way back in '97. This song called "Walked on the Valley." Lots of tracks I had started writing. I used to know 3 chords those days, and Neil and Tuki were like, "You will never learn the guitar. Sharakko nahi kore jacchish."
These are golden anecdotes for YouTube.
ভীষণ খুব বকাবকি করতো। And let me tell you that, so that formulated that syllabus of Baba Ma's influence of folk and Hindi film music. I was heavily into Hindi film music. Before Crosswinds, I used to moonlight as a Kishore singer.
Wow, I can't imagine you doing that though.
I used to go to Maniktola and do 3-4 songs for some 80 rupees. And my
unbelievable.
And it was, I used to sing 2 or 3 songs, and I still remember, those were the days. And Pada Shofo এসব হতো, but by that time Crosswinds with a C had happened. আর তখনকার দিনে Padda was looking for a singer, Obijit Patronovis.
Right.
And Joy Bhaduri, Koel, Ramona, Damon Arona, Moloida on drums, O.C. Clayton, a whole lot of people. This was a creme de la creme lineup. Like in Crosswinds, everybody had played. Nandan Bakchi, Amit Dutt, everyone. Jeffrey, Rakes, everyone, those days. And band was no band without an Anglo-Indian.
Right.
Everything was learned, because you just turn around and say, "Your Beatles chord is wrong over there, change it around." And I was very fortunate to have lived with Dwight and a whole lot of other people. They taught me the rudimentaries of, and I think that formulated my sense of rhythm, songwriting, the way I used to think music. But at the core of my songwriting or my composing, I think Western music had a very strong influence.
Yes.
But meaning I was exposed to a lot of folk music, and that's when coming back to Chennai, those 3 years before I met Rahman, I flirted around with the idea of world folk. So I kind of started doing African music, or Rajasthani music with Oikotan, my contemporary folk platform. And that's when it chanced upon me that why not get Karthik Das Baul,
yes,
and create this lineup. And Keith was playing bass.
This is Oikotan, the folk project.
Keith was playing bass, Carl Peters' brother.
Yes.
And Keith, Don and Murray, these crazy musicians. And Balu was on my percussions. He was playing the mridangam and the dubki. And so we did a gig at something called like a World Music Festival with Anita Ratnam, this famous Denus.
Yes.
She did the thing. And we performed there, and Dr. Hans Knopp was there from Kulchir Der Welt. That was a House of World Cultures, and they invited us for the Sacred Music Festival in Berlin.
डाले उठी आया से कानु हारम ज़्यादा मैं तुई सोले ना सयो उखियो हो कोलम किनी राधा ओदुम डाले उठी आया से कानु हारम ज़्यादा मैं तुई सोले ना सयो
Those world music festivals were the most beautiful things I've ever done, though with folk music. But Berlin, I still remember I was doing this song by Joshimuddin, and 30% of the ticket sales money was going to Joshimuddin. They have an archive, they have licensing. I am so upset that why couldn't we do it? Why couldn't we do it? Like, why is this happening? Why does it need a Berlin to archive all the Baul music? Why can't we do it? So yes, all these festivals. We did Borneo twice, Rainforest Music Festival, 10,000 people dancing.
This is with Oikotan?
Oikotan, absolutely. And like bare naked folk, pulsating, throbbing percussions. One dotara play, tokhon man shatto ki baya to dotara.
Right. So at one time you were dabbling with your Bombay projects, film projects, as well as Oikotan, as well as your jingles. So you're doing everything at one point.
Oikotan was very, very strong inside of Chennai because we were doing a lot of music festivals during that time. And I was working with Rahman, doing live gigs. We did a whole lot of Jadavpur concerts with Oikotan those days.
But the person in you inherently, when you are performing, I saw a gig of yours, I think a couple of gig of yours in the last 2-3 years, where you were just uttering gibberish, but it had a particular discourse to it. So that is something what Bonnie Chakraborty is to all of us. The song may not have any lyric, but then it is still music. So that is something that really stuck with us. And of course, like I was asking you questions about AR Rahman, and these are beautiful experiences, going to Rahman's studio and making him listen to your song. So similarly, Mangal Pandey pore amra deklam Devdi was a big thing for you, right?
Mangal Pandey happened before Mangal Pandey. Okay, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose happened. I had done some work there. There was this movie by
Rajkumar Santoshi.
No. Boys bole একটা Tamil ছবি ছিল.
Oh, okay. Shankar. Yeah. It's a big hit.
I did some crazy ass.
That's also Rahman, right?
For that, yeah.
Some
mad stuff there with Kona Coles and all these things. So by the time I was into him, he used to once movie is called Chamki Chameli, which was was in an adaptation of Carmen. I sang the best song for Rahman. Amazing track, which I think Ila Arun was the director of all the music, all the lyrical sections. And that day, I was a little down and I was not kind of in this zone. So he said, "What is? I'm hearing Bonnie Kapoor. When is Bonnie Chakraborty? I'll go and have some coffee." And he was in this. Till today, people ask me, "Please, can you share his number?" I said, "I don't have his number, but when I send him an email, he replies back."
Are you still in touch? You were talking about
Bohurupi happened.
Yeah, you're talking about that.
And Shimul Polash, that track happened, and Shibu was after me. Please share karo. I shared this with him. Within 10 minutes, he Rahman posted it.
Wow.
And it was like I nearly had tears in my eyes. Why? Because to me, he's still আমি একটা কর্মচারী ওর কাছে but he still asked কি খবর কি করছো. He was very upset to see me at, there was this thing called something Airtel Bandwagon show where I did 19 episodes as an anchor.
ETV. I've seen that. Yeah.
So Rahman was the main judge. He came there.
Yeah, he was there. I think Cactus was performing. You were hosting.
And everybody was like, "Rahman, please give his number." And I said, "I don't have his number." So Rahman walked in and he was like, Have you stopped singing? I said, "No, sir, I'm not." Then why are you anchoring? And he asked me, "Why did you leave Chennai?" I said, "Sir, I had to earn money. There was not much money in Chennai." He said, "Rubbish." He just walked away. And he was actually upset because there was this guy called Jaydev, me, and this guy called Karthik who sang these songs in Gajini. He's a mad singer, man.
The Tamil?
The
Hindi one.
So Karthik, me and this guy used to do all there were not much Hindi singers. So Rahman was one Hindi singer less and he used to call me, and I still remember these small things, this Chamki Chameli track. I sang 2 songs over there, but the movie never saw the light of the day. And it was Shyam Benegal's project.
Oh,
Shyam Benegal is related to me. So I did this thing and I sang one track, and I still remember Sukhi Pa was there. He's sleeping. ঘুমাচ্ছিল সে। বুথে ঢুকে আমাদের একটা দুজনে একটা গান দিয়েছিল, ওটা চামকি চামেলি না, একটা ছবি কি বলে কি মাদারল্যান্ড বলে একটা সুভাষ গায়ের ছবি হচ্ছিল। চামকি চামেলি was a different project. Both the projects never saw the light of the day. So I went to sing into the booth with him, and we both started, and Sukhi Pa said, "Note ko aise laga chore." Like he's like that, and he started singing.
It's like a radio tune.
Hello, stop. Out of the booth. He put us both in 2 different rooms because we were so loud. And it was like that whole Azim was Shan.
Yes.
This, we call it in our rock, আমরা Crosswinds এ বলতাম রা রাসপুটিন, যখন গলাটা প্রচন্ড জোরে হয়ে যেত. Those experiences of going there and reaching before all the other singers that I said, "You just come here, you play this track." He said, "Does this sound like any other track?" I said, "Sir, this sounds like this." But those were very crazy interactions with him, and he never we used to go there at 7, and we used to see everybody sitting there, Amir Khan, Subhash Ghai, Sham, waiting from 7 till 2 in the morning.
Yeah, he works midnights, no? Yeah.
3 o'clock he'll go, "Hi folks, what's up? Let's start." And by that time we are like this, all gone.
We were talking about the 90s Calcutta when it was the golden period of music, such beautiful times. Right now it's good in its own way, I'm sure, but a lot of us who are 90s kids, we still miss those days. What about you? How do you see the city now, and city giving back to you in terms of inspiration or writing or scoring new music? Do you see inspiration around enough, to make new music here in Calcutta in 2025 sitting here?
I think the party is not outside, it's inside my mind.
Wow.
So I was waiting for something like a Bohurupi, because I do not look for influences outside. I started my journey with all these, jingles and stuff like that, all these many projects, and I had already started working as as a composer for these radio shows, and then into ads. And Amit used to live next door in
Amit Trivedi,
and we had this common friend, Kalki, who's
Kalki,
So she told Anurag that there was this band baja, version of Okay, emotional Atyachaar.
Yeah.
And Amit was looking for a rock voice, and like Kalki said, if you want a big voice,
It's a
then
tough
go.
song. How did you pull it off? Because I remember you were sharing this story in one of your gigs. You said on stage, you said this, that Anurag Kashyap literally came and told me, I'm going to, remove your underwears right now.
Chaddi
It's going to be
Pavan.
that tough for you to sing that.
He came and
He
told
actually said that.
Usri, we did Udan, this track called Motu Master. It's an amazing
Beautiful track. Yeah.
And Usri did some screaming over there, That is an amazing song where these Piyush Mishra, everyone was just kind of having a party there. And Anurag came and told him, don't trust these rock star with a nice expletive. These are like very dangerous, characters, very dysfunctional guys. I don't... He told this to Usri. And Devdi happened, and I told Amit that, boss, you are not going to take my calls after a few years. That's meaning you don't know what's going to happen to you. And that happened. Once I moved to Bombay, that, that intellectual prowess, that soul music, that kind of took a back seat, because I just dived into the commercial scene and I saw my first paycheck. I was like, where am I, where am I, working from? Chennai was this crazy place where I learnt all my tricks inside that place with Oikotan, with Rahman, with Yuvan Shankar Raja. So that actually formulated my entire thing, and I was like, I do not want to sing like a normal singer. I want to try stuff where I go.
They are, I think, more open towards these things, right? Compared to Bombay.
Sampling had started, Sampling had started those days, and
Rahman sir, I think, started sampling back in the 90s.
There was a guy called Deva. Rahman was not doing sampling. Yuvan Shankar Raja was.
Okay.
I used to sing all these, all these Arabic licks, and he used to have it on the keyboard, and he used to place it anywhere. He said, wow. I said, Yuvan, you can use it for your next film also. He said, no, I won't. I'll inform you. I said, well, please do, because once you're sampled, that's where it all started from. But that's been the journey, man. I think what really has shaped my music and made me compose, my 32 years of I wouldn't call it like a journey. I would call it a struggle.
This is a great piece of advice for people who are trying to make a career in music. এখন যেটা হয় আর কি, আমরা অল্প একটু ছোট কাজ করে মনে করি আমরা অনেক কিছু করে ফেলেছি, but that doesn't really happen that way. So what would be your advice as a senior musician, that there are a lot of people going to Bombay as well as Chennai to make a career? Even in Hyderabad, the Telugu industry is quite big. What is that one thing they need to do, to maybe, apart from talent, to crack it there?
I think one medicine doesn't work for everyone, So everybody has their own kind of way of dealing with things, but
is there any code that one needs to crack to get there?
Well, do not rub people off the wrong way, and make sure your networking is very strong, because when I went to Bombay, I kind of made sure that every day I was out from 9 to 5, meeting lots of people, and these folks would tell me that, क्या कर रहा है रात को? मैं कुछ नहीं कर रहा हूँ. आजा, चल यहाँ पर आजा. And that's the time when I was drinking with them. All those deals were cracked. That कल studio में यहाँ आने का है. So that vibe.
That still happens in Bombay.
Absolutely.
People connect over alcohol and at a party and things like that.
And when I met Shantanu Da, he's one of the most inspirational, my characters, because.
He's talking about Shantanu Moitra, by the way, for all our viewers. Yeah.
I've done lots of work with him, starting with MTV Coke Studio, 3-4 films and stuff like that. I've sung all my duets with Shreya with Shantanu Da. So he was this MBA dude, who knew how to put his finger on the right groove and the right melody.
Do you listen to those old Hindi songs here? Shankar Jaikishan, they were pretty big in terms of orchestra.
Thanks to Usri, I've started hearing lots of music after marriage that I never knew, because I was only fed with this staple diet of Bengali music. But Ramkumar Chattopadhyay, all the other formats of music, she introduced me to a whole lot of it, and her father also. And I'm very open to all of this, but I never try to sing 2 formats of music. One is Rabindra Sangeet, the other is Nazrul Giti, and the third one is any format of classical music. I just can't crack it. And I never tried to.
No, you play to your strengths, so that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And though I wrote a beautiful song for this movie called Rong Milanti way back in 2013,
Yes,
like
yes, we remember.
Khan sang one song called Saiya Jab Gaye Pardis. I had composed a song for Usri's demo, which she had sung, and Kaushik Da liked it. He liked the song.
You're carrying a lot of music in you.
That has been like a huge baggage, and that's what I'm trying to say. I put it all together for Bohurupi. Everything was, meaning the entire movie, the BGM, the songs, it had a huge influence of everything that I did. That made a whole lot of difference, meaning it খুব strong একটা influence দিয়েছিল.
We're going to listen to a few songs by Bonida, ছোট ছোট করে. So I'm going to leave it to him for you guys.
लो ये सांझ ढली अंधेरा छाई गया सारे बस मोतले डूबा जैसे दिल ये डूबा कहीं जख्म को क्या नाम दे सरे बज़्म को क्या नाम दे सुन मेरे दिल की जुबान दिल की जुबान लो ये सांस and I merged it with Nodi Boradheu Bojona to keu Miche mayar tori Bao 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 re Nodi Boradheu Bojona to keu Miche mayar tori Bao bao bao.
When you are looking to when you are looking back, such a long journey. এখানে এসে যেটা কলকাতার প্রশ্নটা করলাম, মানে বাংলায় এখন যখন মিউজিকটা হচ্ছে, তো যখন when you are sitting down to score something for a film or for your own songs, এতগুলো যে এক্সপিরিয়েন্স আসে, মানে আই এম শিওর ইউর হেড মাস্ট বি গোয়িং বঙ্কার্স while composing, যে কোনটার থেকে আমি ইনফ্লুয়েন্সড হয়ে একটা এলিমেন্ট আমার এটা আছে, আমার একটা এটা আছে, তো হাউ ডু ইউ ডু দিস, বিকজ কম্পোজিং ইজ আ ভেরি টাফ জব.
What happens is when I'm doing the BGM, that's when I get to experiment a lot. But when I'm doing the songs, I have it's like coming to a restaurant and ordering some food. So I have a very specific requirement that this is a love song, these are the influences, and I need this is the situation. That's easy to compose because I work with staple formulas, which are there. But what is what works for me is I draw a lot of inspiration from film music, from what I've heard, all my influences, and I think there's this track called Shimul Polash where
Beautiful.
There was a section, I'll say it out loud today. Shibu told me that I want a Kabhi Neem, Kabhi Shahad Shahad.
Okay, that was a reference.
That was a reference, and that's when that sequence happened where that boat was going and yeah. So that was a complete thing of Kabhi Neem. So that was when I shared it with Rahman, he sent me a smiley because he knew where it was coming from. And in many songs, while doing alaps and stuff like that, he just stopped the recording. He said, I've heard that somewhere. I was singing, Ma Tujhe Salam.
Yes,
and it came naturally because I was overdosing on him. The reason why I am liking my second innings in Kolkata, I would surely like to thank Windows. Shibu is a very close friend and he pushes me a lot.
It's phenomenal. Actor, director, all
and
in one.
That movie has it's the highest grosser in the last 40-50 years. And that's no joke.
I think it's come on Z5 now, and people are still watching it.
Yeah, and I would pat my back and say that the soundscape I have created for that is going to be remembered forever.
Yes.
And
you won an award also.
I won 2 Filmfares, and I won one more Anandolok Purushkar for it. So that whole Bohurupi, that whole Kida, that madness has come from Tamal and Shudipto. But I kind of got into the skin of the movie, and I just really wanted to create something like, mega, like really. And I'd like to say that during all these years, I'd like to thank one person, that's Usri.
No, this is one podcast where I'm going on listening because I don't want to interrupt his train of thought. He's talking about people like AR Rahman, Amit Trivedi. I think we haven't gone to Ram Sampath yet. I'll quickly wrap up the last 2-3 questions. That is, you're talking about your wife Usriti, who's also here with us. I think both of you had a stint at Coke Studio.
Yes,
so
she did season 3 with Shundari Kamala. That's one of the topmost songs in like season
till
3
now,
with
yes.
Ram. And I believe Ram is one of the best producers inside of Bollywood, inside of Bombay, inside of this country, because his album Colorblind was absolutely the best thing.
How was it, Coke Studio? Because Coke Studio Pakistan was very popular when we were in school, and then India thing happened very much later. তো যখন তোমরা জানতে পারলে যে একটা Coke Studio হচ্ছে ইন্ডিয়াতে, what was the reaction?
Small story.
Yeah.
I've done close to 60, 70 or 80 ads with the guy I think inside of India is the biggest producer who did all the production for Rahman. His name is Clinton Sareo.
Oh yeah, he lives in Bombay. Yeah,
So
of course.
Clinton and me, we've done like so much work together, and Clinton wanted me for Coke Studio.
Wow.
And that was for a song which Vishal sang, I'm sure, for something I don't really
He's
know.
amazing.
And by that time Shantanu had booked me for Khaja Baba and one more song called Pinjra with my Swanand Kirkire. So I was like, I missed the biggest opportunity, but Shantanu gave me an open scape to design Pinjra and Khaja Baba, because we were doing Khaja Baba with a whole lot of jazz rock kind of a thing. I said, let's keep the format open. Clinton shaped a lot of my sound design. I used to look at him like producing the best piece of jingles I've ever heard.
See, this is a story we didn't know.
Clinton played a very important part in my life. So that formulated my sound, and when I got Dabaru, then I got Bohurupi. I was like, this is the scape that I want to,
No, I think Rock to Beach is also coming. You were talking
Rock to
about
Beach 2.
Rock to Beach 2 is coming.
Yes, I'm doing in Rock to Beach 2.
পুজোর সময় আসছে?
So ওটার মধ্যেও একটা amazing lineup of singers and some really, I've tried my best to do some good songs.
Yeah.
Songs are good, but what I really trip on is the real score of the movie is the BGM, which makes a huge amount of difference.
We've had 2-3 request questions from some of our viewers when they got to know that Bonnie Chakraborty is going to come here. সবার প্রথম প্রশ্ন হচ্ছে যে, do we get to see Bonnie and Neil together again in Calcutta sometime? Because people are huge fan of the both of you together on stage, and I think Neilda will agree to it. সেটা কবে হচ্ছে, that is one. And secondly, if you have to choose 5 of your songs that is very close to you, it can be something from the Mohin section or the Hindi or Tamil sections. If you could tell me 5 songs, যেটা আমরা সবাই কলেজে পড়ার সময় তোমার অনেক গান কভার করেছি, বাই দ্য ওয়ে, পাখিদের সুরে গান, টু অল দিস songs you sang for মহিনের ঘোড়াগুলি. তোমার 5টা গান, আই থিঙ্ক আমার মনে হয় মহিনের ঘোড়াগুলিটাকে সেপারেট করে বলি, 3টে ফেভারিট মহিনের গান বলো আর বাকি 5টা আলাদা করে বলো.
Well, একটা কথা বলি, 7 বছর যাদবপুর ট্রাই করছিল to get Neil and Bonnie together.
Yes.
Finally it was successful in 2019 where we did পথ গেছে
ওইখান থেকে একজন প্রশ্নটা করেছে, যাদবপুরের একজন.
তো পথ গেছে পেরিয়ে happened in 2019 where we did a magnum opus with piano and everything, Neil's music, and very fortunate to have been there and lived that journey, because I realized that after 25-30 years I could sing Ghum Bhange in the same scale.
Wow, that is another song.
My mom told me that you'll never be able to sing the song the way you did, and So that was one part, and so
I met
want to do
Tukida
a
the
Hell
other day,
Freezes-
yeah.
I want to do a Hell Freezes over with Mane Pod Gache Beke, because that album has shaped the musicality of millions of people inside of
An
that.
epic concert in Calcutta if that happens.
Yeah, I am trying to do that, but I have to get the composers okay for that. Neil
Yeah.
has to say yes. We did a big one in 2019, but I am very fortunate to have sung. I still consider Neil to be one of the best composers in this country, not inside of Bengali.
And one of the best human beings also to work with, I'm sure.
I'm very fortunate to have learnt a lot from him. And if you ask me, three songs
from Mohin and 5 separately. Because Mohin is a different institution, like we were speaking, no? Initially.
Absolutely. I believe, first of all, I would like to say a small thing that Mohin, the last albums I did was not Mohin. I think those are Gautam's songs. Prithibi, Pakhider Shure Shure Gai. Mohin was Kolkata, then Dhadar, Kolkata, and then we had this Merun Shondhalok, all the Je Gache, Bono Maze, all those tracks. And what Gautam wrote later, Ghore Phirar Gaan, those were new songs. That was not Mohin. Gautam composed it right in front of us. Like, he used to come home, party at 4 o'clock at night. He was like, Amiga. I said, like, what is this? He
That's
said,
how Ghore Phirar Gaan happened.
and he wanted some singer, and I recommended like Chandrani for that song, and then the rest is history, because Chandrani had this cranberries kind of this
Yes,
voice,
husk, yeah.
and it was amazing. So Ghore Phirar Gaan is a favorite. One very unusual favorite of mine is actually Shombing no Paki Cool, Runway.
Runway, that's a great song.
Yeah, that's an amazing track. And Deen Chole Jaye, sung by Moni Mama way back in the 1977, is a very Deen Chole
Oh, okay, yeah.
Jaye, that track. And
Even
so,
Shararat is sung by
Shararat
you,
is
right?
that is Orunda's song.
Orunda song, yeah. Orunda
Oh,
Dash.
yeah, so that album was a compilation, so they had lots of these, গড়ের মাঠ, which had মানে ধাঁধার থেকে জটিল, মানে কি গানটা আমাদের যেটা শহরের উষ্ণতম দিনে মানে তোমায় দিলাম, ওটা ছিল. So a whole lot of people contributed to that first album. So these three songs, and I think my favorite from that album, from those 4 albums, is Neil's song called Jao Chede Chole, because that when that cello comes in, that is it's a very special song to me. And beyond that, my favorite song, what shaped my entire journey with Oikotan, is 2 songs. One is by Sheb Mami, this album called Meli Meli. There's this track called Bledi, which Bled means village. So that is one track, and there's this track by Yusu Endor called No More. So I dug a lot of African music. So in fact, there are a lot of these commercials in Bombay which came from Kenya, Nigeria, and I used to sing all of it.
Oh.
All of it in this mad voice, these crazy, change my timbre. I love doing that. That's what I've done for Bohurupi.
Yeah.
All those high-pitched voices.
You can still do it. You're still the madman, I'm sure. No, I mean, I'll just quickly wrap it up. I mean, we'll have one song for sure. But before that, thank you so much for doing this with us.
Absolutely.
I wish we could go on talking.
No, but let's do, this is like, I would not like to, speak a lot about this entire journey, but I think we should do a part 2 where we kind of speak a little more about what else happened.
So you're enjoying the talk, right?
Yeah, absolutely, because nobody has done this. You have decoded what I have done for last 32 years, because nobody has done that
I'm a big fan of all your work. I mean, I remember, I'll tell you a short story. This is a little bit about myself, but this podcast is about him, but this concerns him, because someone once told me that, will you sing a Hindi song in this college fest? I was in Jadavpur University that time. It was a Indian Eastern music competition. I sang Bhattacharyya and I came first.
What are you saying?
Yeah.
You sang when Aage Mein Chalu?
Yeah, that's the song. So that is something Jadavpur ekbar koreshilam ganta chotobelay. Then I think I did this song again in a TV interview I was doing that time. Somebody was interviewing me because I was apparently a rising star. That time people used to give code names and all. But Bonida's music has had that much of impact on me, because I also sing in 6 languages at times. So
Wow.
I'm very much inspired by you that way. So it's great to sit
Honor.
here, do this with you, because as I was telling you, being a journalist also, I love asking questions to people that who have had an impact on the music industry. So it is so nice of you to come down here and do this with us. And to all our viewers, if you are watching this episode, of course, please go and check out Bonida's social channels. You will find all his released work there. It's there on Spotify also. তুমি যে আর্মি ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড থেকে এতগুলো শহর ঘুরে এসেছো যেখান থেকে মিউজিকটা এসেনশিয়ালি আসছে, that is something that we heard for the first time.
Yeah,
And
that has played a very important role, because I don't think in Bengali. My thought process is always in Hindi. Or I think, meaning I do compose a song, I always think in a different language.
Right.
So that really helps me shape the song in a different way.
So we can have a song and end the session.
Absolutely.
হঠাৎ চমকে উঠে স্বপ্ন ভেঙেছে কি যে কাণ্ড হায় আমি অবাক স্বপ্ন ভাঙিবা হয় না হরিশ কোথাও Rabia ko Bhange, Bhange, Rabia. তোমার মনের হাসি তীরে বেঁধেছে নতুন ভাবে তোমায় ভালো লেগেছে এ কি যে কাণ্ড হায় আমি স্বপ্ন ভাঙিবা হয় না হদিশ কোথাও
Wow. Thank you so much, Bonida, for doing this with us. Hope you have had a good time at Cafe Am Salzsee. I know it's a very unusual name, but we are glad to host you. And I want to also thank Roop Bhandari for handling the production of this session from the first season. And I also want to thank Shogato, Angshuman, Rohit, and Arij, the partners at the cafe, for thinking out of the box to do this. Actually, a lot of people have this conception that this is my cafe. It is not. It belongs to one of my best friends, Shogato, who's in Germany. That's why the name is Cafe Am Salzsee, and they are also big fans of Bonida. Thank you so much again, and hope you've had a good time.
Thanks for hosting me, and keep doing this, because otherwise we guys are neck deep with production, with films, with advertising, and it takes people like Wriddhaayan to decode a Bonnie Chakraborty. And I am saying this aloud, that this is maybe my first talk show, and 32 years encapsulated inside this. I think we were planning for a 45 minutes, but I think this is too much to speak about. Close to 1 hour, and I would request Wriddhaayan that let's do this again, and let's document it for the next generation, for people, like for generations to come, because I don't represent only my work. I come with this entire legacy of Mohin, of Podgache, Rahman, my music, everything. So, and I believe that needs to be shared, that needs to be decoded.
Absolutely.
And hats off for this amazing initiative. And I would like to listen to you sing some point of time.
Sure, thank you so much. It means a lot to me. Please go like, share, and subscribe our YouTube channel, Cafe M Salzsee, as well as on Instagram as Cafe M Salzsee again. See you again soon with a new artist and a lot more stories. Thank you so much for being there with us.